Hi, I'm John Barker, Extension Educator in Knox County. Today we're out in the soybean field and we're going to talk about how to scout a field for different weed pressures that we may have. I've been called out to look at some weeds in this field, and as you can see from the image here that this is a field where we've got some really problem weeds that have just taken over the entire field. Okay, so when I first walk in the field, obviously it's going to depend on the growth stage of the plants and the growth stage of the weeds, what we're looking for. If they're a large weed that we're out there, the first thing that comes to your mind is a flower, and is there a flower on that plant? Look at that first, again, just because it's at the top of the plant and it's the easiest to see. If it's a smaller plant, obviously you're not going to have a flower. You won't have that till later in the growing season. Leaves is the next thing we want to look at least that I do. And basically what I look at on the leaves is the shape of those leaves. Are they long and skinny? Are they more oval? What is that shape? And how are they on the stem of the plant? Are they opposite each other? Do they alternate? But that leaf is going to give me a lot of ideas. Another thing I'll look at is hair. Is there hair on the stem of that plant? Okay, is there hair on those leaves? Because again, it's a process of elimination. We're trying to narrow stuff down. Another thing I'll look at is the root structure. Different weeds have different root structures, whether it's a long tap root, whether it's a series of stolons that come out from that. So once we pull that plant up out of the ground and we kind of clear off some of the dirt from those, we'll take a look at that root structure and see if that can help us identify it, or at least narrow it down a little bit more. Next thing I look at is there anything special about this plant that kind of stands out? Are there any special characteristics that can help us identify that plant? And that can be anything from a shape, a color. Also, you can look at the stem. Is the stem hollow? Is the stem a triangle? Are there different parts of that stem that again can help us narrow down what we're looking at when we try to determine what weed we're dealing with today? Okay, I've put together a backpack that I keep in the back of my trucks pretty much all during the growing season. So if I go out to look at anything in the field, whether it's a weed, whether it's an insect, fertility problems, whatever it might be, I've got this kit and I don't have to think before I leave the office, okay, do I have everything? I have everything in the backpack, and I just keep, like I said, I just keep it in my truck throughout the season. If we're doing any kind of soil sampling or anything like that, I've got a bucket that we can drop the soil samples into, soil sample bags. We can also put leaf samples in there if I need to. I usually have some Ziploc bags for different samples. So if we have leaf samples or something like that, Ziploc bags, insect samples that we can put in there as well, but we can close those off with the Ziploc bags and keep them separate that way. You need some sort of digging utensil, whether it's a spade like this to dig up small plants. I also have one like this. They also have measurements on here where I can tell I'm 1 inch down, 2 inches down, whatever. Both of these have that, so I know how deep I'm going if I need to sample something at a certain depth. And when those guys don't work, I bring out the big stuff, okay? Depending on the size of the weed or what we're digging up, I also keep this in there because it still kind of fits in that backpack pretty nicely. Another very important tool is a hand lens. Depending on the size of the specimen you're looking at, especially in insects or diseases, you definitely need this type of lens, at least with my eyes, I do, to be able to really take a look and help identify stuff. So I've got a couple of different styles of hand lenses I keep in here. And then as you can see, and I won't take them all out, just a bunch of different publications, identifying publications, different bulletins with pictures and stuff like that I'll use when I'm looking at different stuff. Here's one on some stuff on Palmer amaranth and water hemp and pigweed. Again, I keep all these in there just so I've got them to help me identify. Another thing that I'll carry with me, if we're doing stand counts and stuff like that, I always have some sort of tape measure, measuring device, something like that I keep in here. Seed depth sticks, we can use that when we're checking plant population and plant spacing at planting. What depth we're planting at, that kind of stuff. Also, you can use these to mark locations of plants out in the field that you want to take a picture or video of. Also, it kind of has a size reference as well.